Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best EPL bets in 15 minutes or less. International break is in the books. We got a big run of club football approaching with domestic European fixtures. It's all happening. I hope you got your apple picking in because you're not leaving the couch anytime for literally like the next every day for the next
Love it.
3 to 4 weeks between Champions League, club football, Europa League, Europa Conference League, cup fixtures. There's football every day. We're here to bet on it. So we welcome back to the podcast Nick Dianni. You can follow him at Nick Dianni. You can follow him at the Kicks and Picks Pod. You are at Kicks Picks Pod. You can follow me at Andrew Passaro. I'm Andrew. We had a busy show, Nick. International break. I hope it treated you well. I hope you rested because it's all gas, no breaks for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it either like kills your momentum or gives you the reset that you needed. It's a little bit of both. I think I was very selective this time around. Fared out okay with the international break, so happy with it. But ready
Yeah,
to fucking get back to it here.
it's nice that we can rely on Italy to score goals. The fact that Italy team total over 1.5, if they are playing a good team, is a playable bet. And that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
It took them some time. Would have been nice if they could do that over the summer when things mattered more. But let's not
Yeah.
let's not get too much into our Italians. Let's jump right back to the Premier League. Early London derby Saturday. I don't want to get too big into this game. I just have one quick thing to throw out in Tottenham versus West Ham, and it's Brennan Johnson. He's maybe the greatest Welsh player ever to play for Tottenham and in the Premier League. I think I named someone better. Definitely not one who hit an overhead kick against my club in the Champions League final. Brennan Johnson, anytime goal scorer, plus 210, score or assist, plus 100. He scored in 7 straight games for club and country. This is one of those situations where you ride the hot hand until it bites you. And I'm going to keep riding it, I'm not putting a full unit on it, but because I won't be up for it. But the dude's on insane form. Only played once for Wales during the international break, getting a break for the second game. So we keep rolling.
I'm with you. We talked about it, obviously offline, but we both had that bet, right? Score or assist over the international break came through super easily. So I have nothing to add. That's a great bet. Let's ride with it.
All right, we jump to I think is going to be maybe the best game of the 10 o'clock window. Actually, there's some really good games in the 10 o'clock window in the Premier League. You got Fulham, Aston Villa, you got Manchester United, Brentford, you got Newcastle, Brighton. This is a if they had a quad box kind of setup, this is a quad box kind of setup because Everton Ipswich will be decent as well. We'll talk about that. Fulham versus Aston Villa. We're on the plus money play here. Both teams are scoring over 2.5 is even money. It hit in both games last season. It's hitting 6 of 10 Villa games so far this season. It's hitting 3 of 9 Fulham games this season. And hold on though, because don't go away because both teams to score has hit in 5 of the 7 Fulham games in the Premier League. They have a good offense. They have a subpar defense. If you want to take Villa team total over 1.5 at plus 150, I wouldn't say no to it. I think there's value there. And the last thing, and I need to remind you this every show for the rest of the season. Live bet John Duran if he comes on, anytime goal scorer, because he's hit 7 goals off the bench in his Premier League career. He did another one, I believe, for Colombia over the
Sure did.
international break. The man is the Cristiano Ronaldo of Divock Origi's. Loves a clutch goal. Um, and the best thing about them is none of them are tap-ins. Like they're
Yep.
all bangers.
Yep.
So John Duran if he comes off the bench, but I love the both teams to score. I love the over 2.5. What do you like?
Yeah, the plus money play. I like it. Let's trademark that bad boy. I am going to tell everybody to proceed with caution. I'm with you. I like Johnny. Ollie Watkins at plus 200 kind of seems a little bit disrespectful. He's starting to get going, which I like. Only thing I'm going to say is just really proceed with caution. I think the first instinct of most are going to be, oh my God, Aston Villa, they're plus 190. Oh my God, Aston Villa, plus 105, draw no bet. Um, I get why you'd think that, but just be careful. This is a really tough spot coming off of international break, Champions League in a couple of days. This screams to me trap game. Proceed with caution if you're taking a side. The lines lead me to believe that Fulham are going to get something from this game. So I'm with you. Stick with props, stick with totals. Just be really careful with Villa.
Yeah, I Fulham are one of the most creative teams offensively in the Premier League, and I think they're going to give Villa a tough time. I don't lean. I'm with you. I think this screams 2-2 game personally. So if you want to take over 3.5, I
It's
wouldn't say
it.
no to you. Manchester United, they take on Brentford. We talked about it last week on the podcast, and I again, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, but I think everything that we said still applies. Brentford first half goal was plus 128. They've hit that in 4 straight games. Three of those in the first minute. The last one, oh, they only waited until the second minute. Yeah, at a plus number, you have to take that.
Yes.
Um, you'll notice a trend in this podcast. Guys who are hot have scored a lot of goals early in the season. And yes, this might be the time of the year where they fall off. But again, hot dice, you got to keep rolling them. I've never played craps in my life. We're working on that. But Brian Mbuemo, plus 260 anytime goal scorer, scored in 3 straight. Him to have 2 shots in the game is minus 270. I think that's a solid 2 shot prop parlay if that's something you want to cook up. He's done that in 3 of 7 matches. And then if you want to take Brentford, the numbers are interesting. Brentford double chances plus 110, draw no bet plus 250. Brentford have not won at Old Trafford in the EPL. And I'm not going to say that this Brentford side is due because this is not peak Brentford of what we have seen of Brentford, but this is the worst we've seen of Manchester United.
Yes.
They are coming off an international break. You'd have to, I'd have to go through player by player to see which team actually sent more players to the international break, but um, things not good at Manchester United right now. So could Brentford get a shock result? Possibly. I don't know if I'll be taking that, but I do love the Brentford first half goal a lot.
Yeah, I like that as well. You have to keep riding with it. I like Brentford plus one. Now, you have to shop around for this one because the lines actually moved a lot. We recorded our other podcast last night. They were minus 130 at plus one. Now it's minus 150, just comparing DraftKings. So I think if you can get this in the minus 135, minus 140 range, Brentford plus one seems really good to me because United would need to, assuming Brentford gets a goal, which we both think they will, hopefully in the first half. But whether, if they get one goal at any point in this game, United would need to score three in order for you to lose your bet. And I don't see United scoring 3 goals. They, if they do, good for them. I was wrong, but they have to prove that to me. They haven't done it yet. Brentford plus one, I really, really like if you could find it at anywhere minus 140 or better.
All right, we jump up north. Newcastle, they're taking on Brighton, one of the furthest trips in the Premier League. I know you're not in love with Brighton yet. I have my
I'm
tune
less
has
in the love
changed.
with Newcastle. Is
Right,
that
and
fair?
that's 100% fair. If this is what is it? What's the game where you talk to each other? Love is Blind. Yeah, if this is Love is Blind. I'm dedicating more of my time to Brighton than I am Newcastle these days. Um, the Brighton team total over 1.5 plus 128. It's hitting 4 straight games, and they've hit that total in 7 of 9 games this season. The offense is clicking. And I don't trust Newcastle. Also, Brighton down 2-0 in the first half against Tottenham, roaring back, ripping off a 3-2 win just before the international break. Brighton to have 15 shots in the game is plus 105. They've done that in 5 of the 9 games this season. Um, it's a lot of shots. I like the goals more, but I lean Brighton in this game, but could Newcastle stifle them? Absolutely. This should be a fun one. Hopefully that both teams don't wear stripes because I would like to be able to watch this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't figure out either team, but I can figure out that I don't like Newcastle. They've been horrifying to bet on so far this year. Terrible to watch. Brighton, I have to. We're 7 games in. I have to say that they've impressed me. I've been wrong on them so far. So this is where it all goes wrong for me personally. I'm going to take Brighton in this one. I don't mind them. Draw no bet if you like a big fat juicy number. Brighton double chance is minus 120. I think that's right where I want to be for them to get points out of this game. That draw no bet is plus 165 if you could think they could do it outright. Doesn't matter to me that Newcastle are at home. I think that gives them a little bit of an edge, but they just haven't looked good. They're not scoring consistently. I don't really understand why Isak is plus 115 to score. Phenomenal player. I like him a lot, but that seems really, really short. Give me Brighton. Let me be wrong. Let me be right about Brighton all year and be wrong with this bet.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that trade.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Um, let's go to a team that you bet on, but I can't bring myself to. Ipswich take on Everton. An important game for both teams. Ipswich not in relegation zone, but they haven't won. Everton all over the place. Well, you have thoughts. I don't. I didn't even. I was like that. I couldn't touch it.
Yeah, look out. Here comes Everton. They what unbeaten in 3 straight. How often are you able to see that? They are roaring. I like Everton plus a quarter of a goal in this one. It's minus 130. I just think that they're the better team. I think that they should at least get a draw out of this. You mentioned it. Ipswich just hasn't won a game yet. So if they're going to win their first game, Good for them. I'm happy to be wrong on a trend like that. Everton plus a quarter of a goal.
All right, Sunday in the Premier League. We'll jump around. We have plenty of bets on the continent. I love the continent this weekend. Germany's going to be fun. Italy's going to be fun. Not so much in La Liga, but and I do have somehow Liga on place. But Sunday, Premier League, Wolves, Manchester City. I'm going back to the well. Again, we talked about it last time. No Rodri equals the other team scores goals on Manchester City. Both teams' have scores hit in 3 of the 4 games since Rodri's injury, and both teams' has hit in 7 of 9 Wolves games in all comps this season. One of those games was a 2-0 victory over Burnley in the League Cup. So, yeah, both teams' scores hitting at a ridiculous clip. Wolves are bad, but they are not really bad. They're just not doing the right thing. City and both teams to score plus 135. Um, why not? Why not?
Yeah, hey,
Could
I'm with you. Nothing to add. Let's go
Yeah.
for it.
All right, the big one. You got Arne Slot. You got Enzo Maresca. Liverpool, Chelsea. The rivalry renewed. No Cucurella, no Fofana for Chelsea as they are suspended. Cucurella missed. Fofana, I mean, they have 8,000 center backs who I don't rate. So, more importantly, Allison injured for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But, Cleveland Kelleher's won some league cups against Chelsea.
Hey, man.
So, yeah, not a bad backup. Pretty solid backup. Um, I don't know what to expect in this game, to be totally honest. This is one of those games that I had to kind of dig and dig and dig, and I found some things that I like, not things that I actually there's one that I really like, but it's as a Liverpool fan, it pains me to say it. Give me Chelsea 12 shots plus 100 in the game. They've hit that total in 9 of 11 matches so far
Ooh,
this season. Liverpool have given up that total only 3 times in 10 matches, but Chelsea have the offense that is capable of getting 12 shots. And mind you, these are not on target. These can be your Nicholas Jackson into Rosie, your Mikhail Modric putting this past the corner flag wide of a shot, but um, it just needs to be a shot. I think Chelsea can have 12 of them. I also like Liverpool over 6.5 corners, minus 126. They're averaging 7 corners a
it's
game in
not
the
bad.
Premier League. If you want to take them up to 7.5 at plus 122 to get a better number, I don't hate that either. Um, my I'm not looking forward to betting Liverpool in these big games for a while for the sole purpose of they haven't been a consistent side in terms of like under Klopp, they're going to blow teams out. They're going to get a million corners. They're going to take a million shots. They've been a much more controlled side under Slot, and I'm finding it harder to find good value on them. Like Liverpool and under 4.5 is a good number, but like that worries me. This could easily turn into a shootout. So, um, I kind of like Liverpool and both teams to score plus 160 because I do think Chelsea will score, but I do think Anfield will still guide Liverpool to a win. This feels like a Luis Diaz game where he cooks if he starts. I think he should start, but it really comes back to the travel back from Colombia. They obviously played on Tuesday night and then getting back to England and being rested and ready to go. Maybe it's a Cody Gakpo game. I think regardless, whatever the matchup is on the left side for Liverpool benefits them. So whether you're taking Cody Gakpo shots or you're taking Gakpo shots on target or anytime goal scorer, I think all of those are an interesting strategy. But what are your thoughts?
Not gonna like him, but this is an under game to me. Under 3.5, minus
Yeah.
130. I think I don't have the stats in front of me, and I wish I was smart enough to remember what I just talked about last night. But there's something like 10 of the last 12 games between these teams have gone under 2.5. So if you're giving
And there
me
were
an extra
a lot of
a
0-0s in that
lot of
one.
zero zeros, a lot of 1-0s, a lot of cup finals going to penalty kicks, right? So these are tightly contested games. You mentioned Liverpool's offense. Let's talk about their defense. They've only given up 2 league goals. That's fantastic for a new coach. And obviously now Allison's hurt, but I just think under 3.5 is giving you a lot of room to play with. I also don't mind Chelsea plus one at minus 130 because it's kind of the same principle as what we talked about in the United game. Chelsea get a goal, Liverpool need to find three for you to lose your bet. It's not to say they can't. They certainly can, but they haven't been firing on all cylinders, and Chelsea look much improved. So I don't hate Chelsea plus one, even though they're away from home.
Yeah, no, I don't like I said, there's a million ways this game could go. I don't know what's gonna happen until they kick the game off.
I think it's
It's
a one goal win for either team, quite honestly. And I think that plus one protects you from a lot of it.
the crazy thing is Liverpool have either won or lost on their slot. They have not drawn yet. So maybe this
Hold
is the
on,
week.
hold on. What's that number? Let's get excited. Oh, plus 330. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Um, that's not bad. All right. Before we jump to some continental plays, I want to hit the both teams to score parlay, which we've been having a lot of fun with on this podcast. I've been hitting it a lot. I have an optional fourth leg this week, but we'll start with a relegation 6 point. There's two plays in England, or two legs in England, one leg in Germany, and an additional leg in Germany if you want to make it crazy. We'll start with Southampton, Leicester. It's hitting 6 of 7 Leicester EPL games and 4 of 7 Southampton games, but three straight for Southampton. Southampton Leicester screams to me some kind of crazy both teams to score game. Fulham Villa, we talked about it earlier. It's hitting both teams to score 5 of 7 for both teams in the Premier League. Then we go to Germany. Leverkusen versus Frankfurt. 6 of 6 for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. 4 of 6 for Frankfurt. It's plus 285 right there. You just do three legs. You want to get crazy with it. Add Bayern versus Stuttgart. Gets you up to plus 465. It's hitting 4 of 6 games for Bayern in the Bundesliga and 6 of 6 for Stuttgart. That is a parlay that starts at 9:30 and would end at the 12:30 games. If you make it four legs, it starts at 9:30, ends with the 10 o'clock games in the Premier League. So Saturday morning, both teams to score parlay. There it is. Book it. Let's go to Italy.
Let's.
Um, Three games I want to briefly touch on. Juve are playing Lazio. I hate to say this, but I lead Juve.
No, it's true.
Their money line at home plus 100, and unfortunately, every time these two teams play, whoever's at home wins the game.
Yes. Um, I like Juve team total at plus 130 for them to get
Ooh.
two. Hate to say it. I feel like Vlahovic scores against Lazio, and I like me, I love to trash Vlahovic. It's my second favorite thing to do after trashing Beto. But he seems to score against Lazio every game. He's sitting at around plus 200. So Lazio's been great. They've exceeded my expectations. They're fun to watch. Ton of goals in their games. I think they have something like 25 goals in the 7 games they've played. So they're averaging over 3. Um, Not them scoring. I just mean in the games themselves. So they're giving up goals. It's not out of the realm of possibility for Juve to get two in this one. Hate to say it. Would love to lose my bet and Lazio pick up 3 points, but I think the emotional hedge is strong for me in this one.
Yeah, I get that. Sunday morning, Empoli Napoli. Why do they have to make the games at 6 a.m.? Like why?
Um,
Who is this benefiting? Is this a trap game? Empoli won both games against Napoli last year. I've only given up 4 goals this season. So I don't love any of these picks, but I'm throwing them out there because we are back on Napoli in this podcast. They are stamped with approval if you can bet on them again. Napoli team total over 1.5 minus 122, hitting 6 of 8.
Not bad.
Napoli over 1.5 minus 105. Napoli over 2.5. I don't love as much, but it's plus 170 if you're looking for juice. I haven't watched any Empoli yet this year, so but the stats look good.
They've played good. They don't give up a ton. Their defenses looked really, really good. And I mean, Napoli, obviously the proof's in the pudding, right? 5 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Lukaku hasn't really gotten going yet. So like I'm kind of scared for when he starts to round back into form. Notice how I said round there. They're going to be really, really dangerous once that happens. I think they're getting goal contributions from everywhere. Di Lorenzo looks like he's hit the reset button after his terrible year last year and his even worse Euro campaign. So that's good for them to see. I think Empoli has to come back down to earth at some point. Is it this game? I don't know. I wish Napoli had a little bit better numbers, but I'm with you. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, they're likely going to win the game. 2 goals isn't out of the question.
Venezia Atalanta. This should be. This should be. The numbers don't make sense. They don't make
Yeah.
sense. This has to. It screams trap. I mean, Empoli
Yes.
Napoli, huge
This
trap,
is
but
the
Venezia
Villa.
Atalanta.
This is the Villa game from the EPL.
This is
Villa
this is
Fulham.
literally the little cardboard box with the fruit snacks underneath that says, "Hey, free fruit
Yes.
snacks," and we both come and run and we get trapped in the cardboard
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Have to say it.
Go.
Have to say
Sorry.
it. Retegui anytime goal scorer plus 145.
Yep.
7 goals in Serie A.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goals over the international break, I believe, in both games. Listen, I'm with you. Got to ride them. I think Atalanta hasn't looked great so far, but Venezia hasn't won a game. All right, they look bad. So
Given
Atalanta and
up
over,
12 goals.
yeah,
12 goals so far this year. Though Atalanta, 16 scored, 13 conceded.
that's a problem. No question. But I think they seem to do better work away from home. Atalanta over 1.5 goals is -120. I think we have to do it.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree with you on that. The over 2.5 goals on its own, -135.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna do that, I almost would rather take Atalanta over 2.5.
You want the number for that? Or team total over 2.5
Team
and
total, yeah.
over. I don't have that, but I have Atalanta to win and over 2.5 in the game at +140.
Also not bad.
No, no, it's not bad
I,
at all.
I personally will lay a little more of the juice and be safe, but wouldn't fault anybody for taking that one.
All right, quickly, Germany, Hoffenheim, Bochum, relegation 6-pointer, over 3.5 goals +100. Relegate. It's the last four games head to head have gone over 3.5.
I like it.
These teams suck and they give up a lot of goals and they score a lot of goals. And then a very fun one in the morning. Again, I told you guys all podcast. Goal scorers, goal scorers, goal scorers. Leverkusen Frankfurt is going to be a very fun game, 9:30 in the Bundesliga. Honestly, I think if you're a soccer fan and you're listening to this show, you got to start your Saturday watching that game because Frankfurt have been very good this season.
Yes, they have.
Um, Marmouche for Frankfurt, anytime goal scorer. He has 8 goals and 4 assists in the Bundesliga, 6 games. So he has 12 goal contributions in 6 games. He is anytime goal scorer +220.
Yes,
He
done.
has again, another player that if you want to put 2 shots in a parlay for him, 2 shots in all but one game this season for Frankfurt. First half over 1.5 goals is +106. Leverkusen's defense is not good. And I don't think they're going to figure it out this weekend. And then last and certainly not least, Montpellier are playing Marseille. Marseille over 1.5, -110 for JLFC. Marseille over 2.5 +130. Montpellier have lost 4 of the last 5. The over 2.5 has come in all 5 matches. Could Marseille run up the score? Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not knowledgeable enough on either of those teams to disagree with
Neither
you.
am I.
So let's ride.
Neither. To be fair, neither am I. I
Stats are the
just I
stats.
stats are for losers. I'm a loser. That's going to wrap it up from us. We'll be back next week, but I'll be back on Monday with plenty of plays as we get ready for a massive week of Champions League. We've got Real Madrid taking on Dortmund in a rematch of
Yeah,
last
we do.
year's final. I think we have RB Leipzig taking on Liverpool in Germany. It's going to be
So
two
good.
big games, 2 big days of plenty of games. I look forward to putting in a Victor Gyökeres anytime goal scorer ticket at a plus number. Don't forget about that. And don't forget about us. You can rate and review the podcast. You can like the podcast. You can subscribe to the podcast all below. And then also, while you're doing that, you can go to Nick's podcast at Kickspix Pod or just click the link in the bios and go do the same for his. Go check out their show. It's a great show. I've been on multiple times. Yeah, guys, I'm stalling for time. Let's get out of here. Let's
Be
have a great
careful.
weekend.
Just be
Yeah,
careful.
be
Look ahead
careful.
week. Look ahead week
Yeah.
for Champions League. Be careful with sides, but have some fun. I don't care. Bet your heart out. What am I saying? Don't be careful. Go balls to the wall. Good luck.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. See ya.